welcome back to the latest episode of the Master of None podcast. I am your host, as always, Stephen Murphy, joined by regular rugby group Sam, and then we have a special guest this evening. We have the man himself, Luke Carty, has joined us. Luke, thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
Cheers, lads. Thanks for having me.
No worries. So Luke, obviously, in the news recently signed with the latest MLR team, the LA Giltinis. I believe it's Giltinis, is it, Luke?
Giltinis.
Is it Giltinis? Damn it, I'm not a big cocktail guy. Sorry. So my apologies for that. But Luke has signed obviously with them and heading over soon enough. So we decided to ask Luke to come on to chat about it, and he graciously said yes. So Luke, before we get stuck into that sort of thing, I said we'll talk about a bit of your background. We've had some of your a few mates of yours. We obviously had Niall Murray on before, and we talked about a few athletes like that. And what growing up, it seems to be similar to all of these athletes is they play a lot of sports and then sort of narrow down on one. Was that similar to your kind of upbringing?
I played obviously soccer, Gaelic and everything growing up, and in the Maris and Athlone where I went to school, like we're kind of encouraged to play everything. So played a bit of everything growing up, and then probably 17, 18 years of age, just stuck to rugby.
And do you feel like playing so many sports like that growing up, does that help or hinder you, do you think, then when you actually then focus on the one sport like rugby?
I wouldn't say it hinders you at all. Like you said, you have a lot of lads on who play a bit of everything. I think kind of Irish fellas, especially playing, if it's hurling or if it's football when you're growing up, it definitely is you get lots of hand-eye coordination and football skills, I suppose. So, yeah.
And then you say like you played a good few sports, but it was about 18 you decided it was the rugby to concentrate on. Was rugby the sport that you were always kind of the best at, or was it the sport where you went, you know what, I can make a career out of this? Whereas you might have been better at football or better at hurling or better at soccer or whatever.
I think I was a bit of a soccer head when I was a young fella, and I got dropped for the Kennedy Cup. So I think my dreams of playing soccer were out the window then. And I just played football in school and played rugby. And I think I started to enjoy rugby a bit more probably when I was Connacht under 17s, 18s and stuff like that. So that's kind of when it narrowed down for me.
Yeah, and we said it there. We had Niall Murray on a couple of months ago now at this stage, kind of middle of the lockdown, and he reckons he was the superstar minor in Roscommon and in the Athlone football soccer scene. What do you think? Is he talking out his backside, or was it yourself?
A little bit? That would be Niall talking out of his backside, but he was a very good footballer. So was his two brothers as well were very good. I was friends with Connor, his older brother, and Dara's in the academy as well. But I played Roscommon minor for my first year, and then second year I was kind of injured and didn't really play, and came on in the first championship game and got blackouted after a minute. So that was
nice.
the end of my football for Roscommon. Yeah.
Let me guess, wasn't your fault. Referee made a bad call. Yeah,
that was it exactly. Yeah.
No black cards ever been given that wasn't incorrect. Enough. Yeah, exactly. We'll move on to your Connacht days, though, Luke. You got brought into the Connacht Academy. What age roughly were you when you got brought in?
I think I was sub academy and stuff. Obviously, that was when we were still in school, and then I was sub academy my first year out of school, and then I got academy. So my second year.
And how big of a moment then was it to be brought in like that? Obviously, a lot of lads would dream of that. So was it a big deal when you actually got the nod to get in?
Yeah, it was unreal. Obviously dreaming of it when you grow up. Like I can remember, I was probably 18, I think, and we just got 19. We played an Eagles game. There was a few injuries. My first September, just out of school, and you were playing with training with like Bundy, playing against London Irish and stuff in the Majeski. I can remember it was a pretty big moment, and it was pretty cool.
And then you're coming in through the academy. We hear a lot of the times, and other people on the podcast have talked about the influence like coaches and other players have. Was there anyone in particular in that first year or two in the academy that really stood out? I know a lot of people have always said Nigel Carolan has been a huge influence on their career, but anyone for yourself particularly?
I'd say Nigel. He was kind of over the top as well, but maybe he was over kind of the whole academy. But I had Mossy Lawler, Ambrose Conboy, and Cully Tucker were my kind of main coaches. I thought Mossy in particular, he worked with me a good bit. Thought he was very good, just kind of attention to detail and stuff that I would have never even come across before meeting him. So he was very good.
Yeah, and you say like stuff you're coming across you'd never come across before. You have the academy and you have the Eagles, and kind of we hear so much about the senior side, but what goes into the day in, day out for like an Eagles player, an academy player? Like is full on professional as the senior side? Because everything we see is just always senior side geared. Like, so what's going on with you day to day?
Yeah, I suppose it's similar enough. Mondays you're in, you've gym and you might have speed or something, and it could be split up or staggered throughout the day with lads being in college and stuff. Tuesday you'd have a big enough rugby session and gym again. Maybe I think now the lads are saying they train. We did last year anyway. Train with the seniors a good bit. Wednesday would be kind of your down day, and then Thursday, Friday would be similar again, and you might have a club training Thursday night. But yeah.
You also got a chance then to represent Ireland at under 18 level. Can you describe what that was like for yourself?
Yeah, that was unreal. I remember I was still in school. 18s clubs. It was obviously a big moment for me. It was obviously unbelievable playing for your country and stuff, and playing with a couple of your friends. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
What's it like when you're still in school and representing your country at underage level? Are you walking around school like the big dick, is it?
Walking around?
No. My friends kept me pretty humble about it. So
yeah,
I didn't get a chance to get a big head, unfortunately.
Well, that's good. I like to hear that. That's good to hear. Good friends. There's some good friends.
Yeah.
You toured the US with the Connacht Academy back in 2019. You played, I think, the New England Free Jacks, one of the teams you played. Did you imagine back then that you could possibly come over and play in the States? A bit of foreshadowing? Like, how was that experience when you toured the US?
Yeah, it was unreal actually. The Eagles, we played 2 games. We played the Free Jacks and played Ulster. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised kind of with the level of the quality there. Like, we played against the Free Jacks. They had a few lads from Galway playing, the Tide leader, Conor Kindrigan from Athenry there. So that was pretty cool. And then I thought, like, geez, it's be a pretty cool opportunity. Obviously I was kind of focused on trying to get into the senior squad with Connacht then, but that's not the way things worked out. So yeah, just looking forward to getting over there and getting stuck into it.
That was that was a question I was going to ask later on, actually. Lads like Tadhg Leader, are they an inspiration to you now, like following his path and what he's actually achieved? Is that someone you can look at or even reach out to for support in this kind of journey?
Yeah, I'm sure. I haven't been in touch with him. I see he's actually there's been a good bit of coverage. He's trying to be a kicker in the NFL.
Yeah.
So yeah, wish him well. He's got a good boot. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of Irish lads that played in the World Cup there for the US. You've Galway man, you've Paul Mullen, a few other lads like that. So I'm sure I'll come across them when we play games over there. But those lads have definitely kind of taken the less travelled route, you could say, and made a serious career for themselves out of it. So I'm looking forward to meeting some of them lads.
And next step, NFL, Luke.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? That's what...
Giltinis won't be happy, but do you have your eyes set on kicking duties?
No, geez, I wouldn't back myself there, Dave.
We got our headline, Sam. We got our headline.
But so you said, like, obviously you were focused in 2019. You were kind of focused on pushing on to the senior side, and you put a lot of time and effort into the Connacht thing. Was it tough when you heard kind of, or when the decision was made that you wouldn't be continuing on with Connacht? What kind of was that experience like?
Yeah, it was tough, obviously. Kind of knew it was a possibility towards the end there, like when it's kind of contract time in about February. But yeah, no, like I friendly told me I wasn't getting a pro deal, but he kind of said, look, I think you should keep pursuing the rugby kind of thing, and that's how the whole, essentially the MLR route came about. I got offered to go down to one of his friends, Darren Coleman, who's now the head coach of LA, but he was the head coach in Gordon in Sydney. And I was supposed to go down there and play rugby there, and then kind of things just worked out my way now with the contract with the Giltinis. But yeah, obviously it was really tough, and it came just before the lockdown there, so I was kind of sitting a bit frustrated. But look, I can sit here and mope about it and say I should have been this, should have been that, but just going to take some of the feedback they've given me on board and take the positives from the few years I had there and try apply them when I get over to LA.
That sort of conversation, sorry Smurf, but that sort of conversation, like, that's not tough from a player's point of view, and I can imagine from a coach's point of view. Is it as kind of in the movies, sort of bring you into the office one day and just tell you, or does it kind of build up over time, or how does that sort of conversation come about?
No, I remember there's definitely a week where you can kind of, it all sort of starts, lads find out if they're getting deals or not, or I just think I texted Eric Eric Elwood, I texted Brandy just saying, could I come in for a chat? I kind of knew it was around the time where they made the decision. But look, that's the way it is. Life goes on, and I think I obviously learned a lot from it, and I'm just looking forward to keep going, I suppose, and get stuck in America.
Yeah, so that, you mentioned the potential move down to Gordon. I actually didn't know that until I researched for the podcast. But that I was wondering where your relationship with Darren Coleman started, because I did a bit of research on him, and there was no really affiliation with Connacht or anything like that. So he's friendly with Andy Friend.
Yeah, it was. I think he reached out to Friendy saying that he know any players who were that he have a 10. I think it was a second row, and yeah, Friendy, like I said, obviously about there was no contract for me, but reached out to DC as well and said would I fancy going down. So I was supposed to go. I can remember my visa got and the bags were packed, and then obviously COVID came in, the place was shut down. So yeah, kind of went quiet rugby wise for a few months. I probably decided to do like a Masters in Dublin and just play club rugby, and I signed up for the Masters and sort of given up on rugby, and it didn't really sit that well with me. So I reached out to Keith Matthews. He's Jack's agent as well, but he works for me as well. Kind of does some rugby stuff for me, and he just threw the net out. Kind of said I was American qualified, and within a day or two, sort of a lot of stuff came back. And DC was in touch with me again, just saying, "Look, I'm now the head coach in LA. Do you want to have a chat?" And it went from there. So yeah.
And you obviously respect DC a lot. You call him DC, Darren Coleman. Did you know much about him before this, or was it just since talking to him and kind of hearing what he has to say that the respect kind of happened?
Just talking to him on the phone, I can remember I came off the phone with him, and I was, he seemed like a positive kind of fella. And yeah, like obviously, I don't know if you've seen it, but he basically brought a team in 2 years from being last and losing nearly all their games to winning the Shoot Shield in Gordon. And just talking to some of the players that have signed as well, they speak quite highly of him. So yeah, just looking forward to getting out there, meeting him, and meeting there's a few other coaches as well. So yeah.
And it fell through in Sydney, and now obviously you're going to LA, and you said LA wasn't really on the radar, but the Sydney climate and the LA climate and the Galway climate are very, very different. Kind of, did you have eyes for somewhere a bit hotter and you kind of just wanted out of the wind and rain, or did it just so happen that Sydney and LA were the two that came about?
Just so happened they kind of came about, you'd say. I don't know, a pasty Rossi walking around the place in Sydney or LA will probably stand out like a sore thumb. But no, yeah, it was just probably, I've been in Galway 4 years, whatever. I was just probably looking to get out a bit and broaden my horizons, even if it was for just a few months to play. But yeah, no, it's an exciting move now, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think your game will suit a more of a drier conditions? Obviously, when you're playing so much in the wet and wind of Galway, that sometimes your game sort of molds to that without even thinking. Do you think now the harder pitches and the quicker ball will suit you?
Look, I hope so. Yeah, like you can't really complain if we're based up near Venice Beach. Training session, probably be nice weather, throw a ball around and go for a swim afterwards or whatever it is. But yeah, just like obviously it was well adapted to the rain of Galway, and Athlone isn't that sunshine. It doesn't have that much sunshine either, so I was well used to it.
It's better though, better than Galway. But yeah, we'll move on to the Giltinis. Sorry, as I incorrectly called them the Giltinis earlier on. I think that's my first question. I think it's a question on everyone's kind of lips, Luke, and I want your honest opinion. Did you know what a Giltini was before this deal came about?
No.
Yeah,
Darren
thank you. I appreciate your honesty.
Basically, from my understanding anyway, it's going to be a cocktail launched based on the martini that's named after the owner, Adam Giltinis. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at with it, I think.
And
okay, that's fair enough.
If you were to, take that sort of mentality about naming teams and to pick your own cocktail that you'd name, like say an Athlone rugby team popped up, what would you go with? Like, would you go with the Cosmo, the Athlone Cosmos or something?
I couldn't even tell you. It'd take a while to come up with a name of it.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm and get back to it.
And what did the family think about the move? Like, obviously Sydney was going to be a big trip, but now like LA, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but in my mind, if someone said, where would you like to go and play professional rugby, LA would be high up on the list. So what's the family think of that?
Yeah, like we're having a bit of crack about it now at the moment. They're my two brothers and my dad and brother-in-law are all talking about when we getting out to Pebble Beach to play a few rounds and leave the women at home. So yeah, like it's a bit of crack. Hopefully COVID and stuff calms down and they can come visit me. But yeah, like it's exciting. I think, like you said, you couldn't really pick anywhere in the world. You'd rather be throwing a ball around. So, with no complaints from me.
And I didn't know, this is not something I knew. Are you an avid golfer?
I'm not. I've a vicious power fade from left to right. So
So
as long as
Sam.
it stays straight.
I got that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sam's,
yeah.
especially in the first tee. Sam,
If I can get it
straight
off the tee box, I'm not too bad. But it's a big issue, all right.
Mine just goes straight into the driving range every time. First
Yeah,
tee.
yeah. Well, yeah, Pebble Beach wouldn't be the worst place to, cut your teeth on the golf courses. So fair play.
No.
Just before did it take, like, how long did you think about making a decision? 10 seconds when you got offered? Like, how did you even take 10 seconds to say yes?
It was a bit strange. Like there was offers from the championship and stuff. Like I know that's a route a lot of lads might go down if they don't get a pro deal kind of in Ireland. And yeah, then there was a few other kind of MLR clubs because I'm American qualified as well, so that's a kind of big carry for them. And yeah, kind of it was more so obviously the location is great, but the talk with Darren was good. You know, I talked to a few other lads who had signed, and yeah, it was from there I kind of decided. I think
What level of
more than 10 seconds.
What level of like negotiation goes into that chat with like the likes of Darren? You said you knew him anyway, which was probably very helpful, but like it's not too intricate in terms of the negotiation. I presume that follows, but it's more of a, do you want to come play out here? Sort of, here's what we got, or what sort of level of chat goes into it?
Yeah, well, this is my kind of first time having an interaction with it. So I previously mentioned Keith Matthews. He kind of took over for me. He got in touch with their guy in LA about the contract and stuff, and we got it sorted. But yeah, it was a quick enough process, and then that was almost back in July, I think, or May, June. So it's kind of been waiting since then, and obviously COVID, we got kind of second waves and what have you. So you hear kind of horror stories about lads not getting visas. So I was kind of on the back burner in my head for a while, and I started my master's there in September kind of to keep me ticking over, and I was working during the summer. So yeah, look, it's good that it's all kind of come together now, and yeah, like I said, for the cliche 100 times, just looking forward to get out there.
Yeah, has it really sunk in like properly that you're going to be like living in Venice Beach, playing rugby in Venice Beach? Like you're playing, your home games will be in the LA Coliseum, which is just incredible. Like, have you seen pictures of that stadium? It's absolutely insane. Like the max capacity is just over 78,000. Obviously, your job is to help fill that, Luke. So no pressure. But like, has it really sunk in, or is it when you actually get over there and get going that it'll actually kick in?
I'd say it's once I get over there and get training with the lads and get properly settled in. I'm obviously trying to sort out stuff at the moment, just like, you know, packing bags and sending stuff over and what have you. But yeah, I'd say the first few weeks will be a bit surreal, and yeah, like I said, that first game, hopefully we can have people at it, but I'd say it'll be unbelievable the first time we get to play a game there.
Will it be annoying not seeing a greyhound track around the Coliseum? Will that be off-putting?
Definitely, yeah.
Have a word with the owner. They might be able to put one in.
And
Yeah.
is like before the move or since the move, have you kind of kept up to date with the MLR, kind of kept an eye on it? What you think about the standard of it?
Yeah, like we've been since maybe October, November, it's been real kind of proactive with the team, like when it's training or it's kind of video analysis and stuff. And I watched a good chunk of games kind of, and even the difference from, let's say, 2 years ago to last year, even though there was only 5 games, it was, yeah, the standard seems to be on the up. Like you've a lot of fellas, I know you've fellas at the tail end of their career going over, but you've a couple of lads similar to me, probably Irish lads who didn't just crack their teeth to pro rugby here, and they're over there applying themselves. And yeah, it looks like it's really definitely on the up.
Yeah, and there's like the Giltinis are obviously a new team into the MLR, so the MLR has established itself and it's getting a little bit of fan base every year. It's kind of building and stuff. But like, do you have any idea what's going to go into the promotional side of trying to set up a base and trying to build fans, or have they let you know about that, or is it just get out and play rugby and hope that they all start? You know, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I think COVID's probably ruined a few of their plans, but I know there was a few out there stuff about promoting the jersey on Venice Beach and lads and their budgie smugglers. Hopefully I'm not picked for that now, but like, yeah, there's a few, the owners of, obviously he's naming a team, the Giltinis, he's got to be a bit out there. So I'd say once we get over there, there'll be a few out there sort of promotional things, but yeah, hopefully nothing that puts me too far out of my comfort zone here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd see you on a billboard. I think the billboard could be the next step. But
It's American sports, like that sort of promotion goes hand in hand with it.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
you always got to see like the American side of things, like going to an NFL game. The odd time I've been lucky enough to go to them, it's such a huge spectacle, and the MLR is kind of doing that as well, which is class. So that's something you got to be pretty excited about, the potential for really big spectacle.
Yeah, hopefully just moving. Obviously, it's changed everyone's kind of outlook and things at the moment, but hopefully it calms down. There was, I don't know, talks of trying to set up tailgates before games and all this kind of mad stuff. So yeah, hopefully
we're in.
Pardon?
yeah, we're gonna go. We're over.
I'll
We're
get
coming
you.
over.
I'll get you some tickets, lads. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. We'll hold you to that, Luke. You shouldn't have said that. We've already kind of mentioned it. Like, LA has such an amazing sports history between the Lakers, Dodgers, Clippers now recently with the basketball. Are you into any of those kind of sports, the NBA or the NFL?
I follow basketball probably more than football. I watched the Hard Knocks on the two LA teams actually just recently, the Rams and the Chargers. So yeah, I think we're actually at training base. It's an area called El Segundo, which I think is right beside the Lakers facility and stuff. So that should be pretty cool. Hopefully we get to rub shoulders with them a bit.
See LeBron going over for a coffee and introduce yourself. Are you going to try and get to a few games when possible?
Yeah, hopefully. Definitely it'll be something to do. Even I think baseball games are meant to be a bit of crack. Get to a football game in that new stadium the Rams and Chargers share. But yeah.
And obviously we have to mention as well, you are qualified, as we said, through your grandmother, I believe, to play for the States. That's obviously, I assume now, that's on your to-do list, hopefully to progress and represent maybe the United States at international level?
I was supposed to go over for a camp there in October or November, sorry, but it was cancelled with COVID. But yeah, look, it's I'll just get over there, try, get settled in, play well, and if that comes about, great. If not, I'll just make sure I'm doing the best I can and keep playing the best I can play. But a bit of a cliche, but just want to get over there and get stuck into it. We'll see. The rest of it will take care of itself.
And would you had any kind of contact or talk with obviously Tig Leader, you've said that, or when AJ McGinty was at Connacht for a while, these USA players, like, would you had any chat with them at all, or is it all kind of a new thing to you?
Yeah, a bit of a new thing, but I suppose you always knew about it. Like, I can remember watching I think it was England versus the USA in the World Cup, and they had 5 lads who were, Irish lads who were moved over there and made a career for themselves. So yeah, definitely be something I'd look forward to chatting to some of them lads about if I get the chance.
And would you be a home bird, Luke? Like, would you be, obviously when you're a professional athlete, sometimes it's just unfortunately comes with the territory that you have to move away or go to a different country, but is that something you might struggle with, or are you going to be comfortable enough, do you think, those first few months?
Yeah, I'd say I am a bit of a home bird. Like, you can't beat Roscommon, at the end of the day. So
of course.
Yeah, I obviously, it will be a bit of a change for me, but probably be a good one. Good to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and experience something different. But yeah, definitely a bit of a home bird.
Yeah, I'm from Cavan, so don't worry, I understand great sporting counties. So I get where you're coming from. Sam, do you want? So it was kind of the last kind of question is obviously with the States being known for its incredible fast food and great culinary delights. Are you worried you might end up a prop?
I'll try my best not to, but I've watched a few kind of cooking shows and stuff about, I don't know, Koreatown and some of the taco trucks around LA and stuff. So I'll have to sample them, but I'll have to earn them. I can't be going there the whole time.
Yeah. Shake Shack, Chick-fil-A, all these incredible ones. So you're spoiled for choice.
Obviously, you're going over with a couple of other signings. We were speaking before the podcast. I think there's the two McNultys are Irish as well, and they're going over. Will you be living all together? Do you know what the living situation is going to be when you get over there?
Yeah, I think it's they're trying to have where we're staying kind of sorted out now, and it's just putting lads together who are kind of compatible, let's say. So fellas roughly the same age and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully you don't get a prop or a snorer or something like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to obviously someone else who's going to be probably in the same boat as me, moving abroad for the first time, and yeah, it'll be exciting.
And do you have the sun cream ready to go?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a tanner. I get sunburned or I get freckles. Yeah. So that's really me.
And have you got a peek of any of the Giltinis training gear? Because obviously, from our experiences of living around Galway, is a lot of professional rugby players live in nothing but their professional rugby training gear. Is there some pretty slick stuff? Maybe some sleeveless T-shirts, for walking around the beach on, or what's the kind of gear like?
Yeah, they actually let it. I haven't been part of it, but they've let the players organise a good bit of it. And I think they're kind of keeping under wraps. I haven't seen much, so it'll be pretty cool just getting the kit bag when we arrive over and seeing some of the stuff. I'm sure there's going to be an away kit that'll be a bit out there, maybe start from say early 2000s.
Oh,
sort of.
yeah.
But, yeah.
And the Budgie Smugglers as well. That with the away jersey, that's going to be quite the look.
Yeah. I think mine got lost. I won't be able to wear mine. So.
Oh no, it's a shame. That is a shame. Look, I think that's all we have for tonight. So I really do appreciate you coming on the podcast. As I said, we are very excited to see your next step and follow that journey, like we are with Tag Leader and Paul Mullen as well, who have been on the podcast. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll do it maybe again sometime when you're representing the States at Fly Half.
Thanks a million, lads. Cheers for having me.
Cheers, bud.